Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at how to add walls, doors, windows, and a few other different variations on walls to our map to control what our players are able to see. So we're going to jump in right away. We need to go over to the left side of the screen this time and go to the fifth option, which is wall controls. Now the first option that's selected up here is the draw walls option. Now if we start clicking and we try to just build our map, we'll see that we get these disconnected line segments. That's because in Foundry, when you're first drawing walls, it'll do point A, point B, that's the end of that wall segment. If you want them to automatically connect and to be able to keep clicking, if you press and hold Control, click, Control, click, Control, click, and you can just hold down Control that entire time, and then let go of Control before your last wall segment ends, or if not, and you forget, you can come back to the final wall segment circle there and close it off. Now we're closing it off right here at this window because in Foundry you don't go in and place windows on walls. Windows are kind of their own segment of wall that just happen to let light and sound pass through them. So we're going to switch over to this option, which is the invisible walls, and we're going to do another control click on this endpoint when it gets big and bring the window over that way. Let it close and then go back to our normal wall, hit Control, and then click. And we'll do that for each one of these walls and windows over here, but I'm not going to make you guys watch that. I actually have a already finished version over here in this window. So we've got all of our walls applied here. We've got windows. We have doors applied. So actually, let me show you how to add a door. That's the draw doors option over here. Will come just like with windows, place the door wherever we want. And if we jump back to the user view, we can see what our players will see, which is this tiny icon that when they hover over it, it'll light up a little bit. They can press it and that will open the door. They can press it again, that'll close it, and that will let them both move through and let light move through once they've opened it. Now, one other thing that we have control over as a game master is that we can right click on it, lock it. When our players try to open it, they won't be able to until we come through, right click again and unlock it if they've passed their lock picking check or whatever challenge they've got in the room. Now let's go back over to our finished version and see what it looks like when we select our player token now. So now we're not able to see out through any of these rooms unless we open the doors, and then we only have our line of sight. And then we can also see through windows, and if we go into a room, close the door, we can't see out except through our kind of memory of what the room looks like, but we won't get updates on anything happening in there since we can't see. We can come back, open the door, come back out, and we have this open wall segment over here. Now I actually left that for a reason, so let's move off of this character, back to our wall tool, and go to the incognito guy down here, which is for secret doors. We're going to add a secret door to this back of the bar area that will lead out through the stables, and we'll close that off and finish it. Go back to our player view and click on it. Now I can still see the icon because I'm actually the game master, but if you were a normal player, you wouldn't see that icon there. It would function and look just like normal wall, except if your players pass a perception check or something like that, they might be able to see it, and then they'd be able to open it and navigate through it. Now, also as a game master, I can click and drag any of the icons through any of the walls that I want. So if you need to move your players, that's good. But when they're actually moving it, they'll move to the wall either by click and drag or however, and they'll find they won't be able to go through the walls. They can open the doors and then move through them that way, and everything should be good. Now, there's also another couple types of walls that are worth looking at. So let's zoom out, get out of our player view, and take a look at this big tent that we've got over here. So if we go back to our walls, we'll go to terrain walls. Now the interesting thing about terrain walls is that you normally use them to enclose something, and it will make it so that your players can still see the object, but they're not able to see past the object. So let's quickly put some of these with a control click around the tent. so that we can have it all successfully enclosed. Let go of control and close it off. And then we'll go back to our player character, drag them out so that they can see what it looks like. So this is cool because it lets us see the tent, but we can't see beyond it, and that will change obviously as we go through, but the player isn't able to go through the object. So this is a nice way to add a little bit of explorability to your maps and make it so that your players can still see the interesting stuff that you put in there. Now there's one other type of wall, and that's ethereal walls. And ethereal walls block your vision and your sound, but they don't hinder movement. So let's say, coming back here, which one? Ethereal is the mask here. Let's say that we wanted this entire block to be hidden. We can come in and do a control click. Sometimes it does that where it connects to a previously connected point if you start with control. So let's start with out control and then do a control click. And we'll just come through and fill out this entire area and close it off. So now when we go back to our player view and access the token, we can't see through. So we can see through it a little bit because the player went through and that opened up the fog of war. But if I reset fog of war, go back to the player, we can see that they're not able to see through it at all. But they can still move through, and then they won't be able to see out. So this is a cool way that you might be able to separate some of your players from each other, and otherwise add another cool aspect to your map. And we can open up all these doors, see a little bit more, and even come out here to the front door, open that up, move around, and it adds a lot more interesting investigation when your players are moving around the map if they actually can't see anywhere that they're going. So that's the basics of going in and adding walls, doors, and windows. Next thing we're going to look at is probably lighting, and then I'm guessing a little bit of a look at pulling monsters in and maybe a little bit of combat. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.